2025. I'd like to make a note that all the commissioners are here. We have a quorum. I'd like to welcome 2 new members to the floor. Commissioner Precinct 1, Precinct 3, Mr. Sweeney and Ms. Donnelly. This time I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask that you please stand and join me in the pledge followed by a word of prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Go back here with me. Lord, thank you so much for this day that we can serve you. One more day that we can remember that what it's all about, and is serving you. We also ask that you help us in serving this county, serving our country. Just keep that in mind as what we're here to do. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Thank you.
Number 4, the public comments. Mr. Dieter, I don't see Mr. Dieter. No public comments, huh? No other takers? Excuse me. All right, if we have no public comments, then we'll move on to item number 5, announcement for possible discussion of items of public community interest for which no action will be taken. I feel some more sneezes coming. Oh, you got some.
We put them back here because we're going to be crying.
Appreciate that. I took off over the weekend, went to watch the Texans play in Tennessee with my grandson. It was drizzling rain, 30 degrees. Hence the snotty nose, yes.
Did we win it?
We won. It wasn't a pretty game, but we did win. Yeah, had a great time with my grandson. All right. Anybody got anything they want to announce or mention going on in the community or whatever under item number 5?
Yes, I'm hearing that the city of Shepherd is getting a new store coming in. Tractor Supply.
That's even awesome.
They're supposed to purchase land the first of the year.
Speaking of purchasing land, the county consummated a deal on the 26th or so, purchased the rental property right there in town. It's got a little office building and another building there that can be used for offices as well. Need to do a little work on it. Might be a place that future expansion. I know there's a big need for more space for the detectives' offices and things of that nature. Anyway, I think it'll be quite a benefit to the county in the future.
Judge, I think we have a new business coming in Cold Spring also. The one used to be the old auto parts store. And it sounds like it's yeah, I just heard it made no difference. No, that's looking like another, well, kind of what you're talking about down at Shepherd. They're going to be selling lawnmowers and that kind of business. It's always exciting to have a new business in town, so that's what I've heard. I'm not sure who you know, that's what it's going to be.
It's true. Don't know the name of the people that have purchased it, but they're already moving property to buy it. It'll be like home repair, small, lighting lawnmowers, things like that. It'll be great. So excited.
All right. No, nothing else under item number 5. I guess we'll move down to item number 9. Consideration of special and possible vote to approve the memorandum of understanding between Jacinto County and the Jacinto County Garden.
Right. It's actually the Jacinto County Master Gardeners. Judge. I'd spoken to your secretary, she said that you would, they had changed that, and,
Okay.
I can't sign it till.
We didn't intentionally mislead anybody, that's just what.
Yes, sir, that's how I got written out, so.
Master Gardener.
Yes, sir. It's called the same, we're called SJC Master Gardener of Jacinto County.
It says, Master Gardener is on the agreement.
Yes, sir, we got it changed this week, the agreement actually, suppose, I haven't seen the new one.
Here's the new one.
Oh, thank you, okay, well,
See it?
yes, sir, I appreciate it. I asked that be changed and made correct because, as you see, we're an affiliate of the Texas A&M Agri-Life Extension, and they're affiliated with you, so I'm going to make sure everything lines up correctly. I've read it. Michelle Moss, our extension agent, has read it. As far as I can tell, this was what was agreed on in Commissioner's Court, and we certainly appreciate it.
Whatever we agreed on, it's that area, kind of the esplanade on the street right in here, basically. So y'all can do y'all's magic on that.
Yes, sir. It's actually 3 properties. That's correct. The Esplanade, the property at the end of the parking area, and we're going to make that into a meditative type contemplative garden where people that are sheltered can go out, hopefully, and have some quiet time because we know they're going to be under stress during that time. And then also a piece of property that lines the 2 side streets, and you have it listed here, east at the intersection of Pine and Jackson. So right now, you can see the property.
Pine and Jackson, I don't remember anything about Pine and Jackson. That's the street that goes up there. There's not really a. Is it even opened up?
Yeah, it's behind the horse barn, the horse area, what do you call that, the animal shelter area you have? It's right behind it. Laddie's already cleared that out on that, this amount of property. You can see that. And that was agreed with 3 areas that we presented at the time. And we had asked for a different space there, but after it was over with, we took less property and got it up closer to the front. So in case you want to expand behind us, also available. We're very well aware that this is your property. We're developing it on it. And those are the 3 that we've asked for, and they're here.
It looks like before they paved the road, they put in some conduit so that you could have water.
Yes, we did.
I guess so.
Yes, we irrigated it already for, and that's listed in the agreement as well. We do appreciate that too.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Have a motion by Commissioner Matino, second by Commissioner Mars. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, unanimous, 5-0.
So much. If nothing else, I'll sit down. I need to get, from where did I get the original? From whom?
You get a copy of it probably anyway.
I got a copy. I just need to sign it whenever you're ready. Oh, I'm ready.
We got one right here.
Yay. I'm ready. It's been a long time coming. About 11 years now.
You have a copy machine. You want to sign this one?
I'll just sign it and then I can get a copy. Once I sign it for you, and let Michelle.
Usually I just sign unless they put 5 places to sign.
Okay, I'll come and get motion sensing.
Okay, I'm all for
That's fine.
Each day here, in
I
the
can
20
get
years,
it.
we may get access to that. She said it's not working. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You just come by my office and I'll get off it.
Sure, appreciate it. Thank you so much, y'all. We'll work to make it beautiful.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Appreciate everything y'all do.
Thank you.
Item number 10, consideration, discussion, possible vote to appoint board members to San Simeon County Emergency Services District number 1 for precinct 2, precinct 4, and at-large positions for 2025-2026. So there's 5 positions on the ESD board, each one of them. And since there's 5 of us, traditionally we've always, each member of the Commissioners Court makes a selection. This time, they're not all done in the same year, so at one point it'll be precinct 2, 4, and then at large it's the one out point. Then the next time it comes up, because you wouldn't want to be replacing the whole board at one time. So, if I remember right, Tammy Russell is on the board.
Yeah, I provided you guys with a current list of who's serving and what their,
As I was saying, Tammy Russell's on the board, precinct 2, Mike Smith, precinct 4, and Mr. J. Capers, who I think's been on there longer than anybody, has been on my appointment for years and years. I've called Mr. Capers. I hadn't heard back from Mr. Capers. I've had 2 or 3 people show interest in showing up and being considered, and still haven't heard from Mr. Capers. His voice machine doesn't work, so I don't know, but I have had some people approach me, so I'm going to nominate for that large position Emmett Eldridge. About y'all's position.
I'd like to keep mine. Ms. Russell.
And I'd like to keep Michael Smith. We could get that turned into a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Mars, a second by Commissioner Tuno. As far as you know, the ESD's running pretty smooth, right?
yes, sir.
I expect your phone's ringing a little with the ESD number 2. They're trying to get on board, and I assured them that you would be glad to help them with any direction they might need.
It is a little bit. I met with one future board member, and I'm going to go out there on Friday and swear them in and give them some agendas and just different things to kind of help them along.
You don't swear them in?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I swear my ESD board in because I'm a notary, so, and I have all the forms.
I used to do that. I was wondering if the
I think they like that I'll go to them.
aggravated because sometimes they even have a little needle there, and I do that. Anyway, anyway, I'm just curious. All right. Well, I have a motion to nominate Tammy Russell, Mike Smith, and Emmett Eldridge to the ESD board. I have a second. Any other comments? I'll shut up. Let somebody else say if you have any concerns. If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it unanimous 5-0.
Thank you.
Like I said, I've tried to get hold of Mr. Pickett when you see him, and I'll tell him personally when I see him that thank you for all this. He served longer than anybody's ever served.
Yes, sir. He's done a great job.
He's been doing it a long time. He's done a great job. Yep.
And thank you for helping me then.
You're welcome. And just in case I forget next time I'm here, Toys for Tots, 679 kids this year. Thank you.
It was awesome. Good job. No, but all that in minutes. There you go.
Okay.
All right, item number 11. Consideration, discussion, possible vote to approve removing Larry McNally from the Personnel Policy Committee and replacing position. We probably should replace, isn't there there's two positions that the policy members have, well, they retired, I guess.
Regina Maslow, Lady McNally, yes.
My way of thinking is I'll replace both of those.
Well, Christina, you said she's up for doing the one for Regina, if y'all don't mind, and then I talked to Crystal, and she said she would replace the one for Laddie, if y'all are okay with it.
I talked to Tammy Curry, and she was interested in serving on the policy. She's been with the district clerk's office for quite a number of years.
Well, I'm sitting there right here about a one who wants to be on the committee. He wants to put his 2 cents in.
Are you serious? You want to be on it?
Does that mean
Seniority? No. Take the seniority.
Looks like Hotel California.
You might could change the whole committee if you want to put some new members on there.
I'm comfortable.
Well, actually, you can. You can change committee once a year. They don't, if they're not federal jobs, they're not lifetime appointments.
Yeah. I'm just saying I'm on there, and if Donna wants to, Mr. Morris wants to take my place, I'll still help. Don't get me wrong. I'll still put the 2 cents in. So we have 2 positions now, or 3?
We have 2 positions and 4 nominees.
No, there's more than 2 positions. There's about 5 people.
Two that were replaced because they retired. Is what I'm saying.
I understand. Can you answer the question, tell them how many people's on the committee? I don't know, or I'd tell them.
Including me and Todd Dillon. Todd Dillon's on there because he gives us legal advice.
Whether I want to or not.
But he'd do that whether he was on the committee or not. That's his job.
True, but it's easier when we have the meetings that he is there.
I was just joking. I'll say it. I'm just griping and griping, that's all. Right? So when water supply. I'm just sitting here.
One way or the other.
So take this seniority. Well,
If you're taking the seniority, that'd be Commissioner Mars and Tammy Kirk. That's not a bad idea. You guys are just starting, you know. I tried to talk to her and say in the prayer this morning. She said, "Easy, big boy."
I'm not recognizing it.
Did it get worse?
So can I make a motion?
Absolutely.
Can I make a motion that Tammy
Just
Curry and
just make the
Commissioner
motion.
Walters?
You don't have to ask.
Yeah.
I'm used to being.
I have a motion. Let me get this right, though, because I've been saying other initials for 20 years.
Tammy Curry and Commissioner Waters.
I have a motion by Commissioner Dominic to appoint Tammy Curry and Commissioner Mars to the Policy Committee. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Have a second by Commissioner.
I'll second that.
Let me see. C, G, L, X. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, unanimous. First motion and second by our new commissioners was unanimous. Good job. Thank you very much. All right, item number 12, consideration, discussion, and possible vote to approve setting a new percentage rate for superamount interest and possibly creating new lines.
So currently, on our super now, that's the interest that we get on our general fund. We have it set up as a percentage rate. What we realized once the previous Commissioner Laddie had moved quite a bit of money out of there and put it into tax class, his percentage rate went lower on what he has in the general fund. So we have found a way to pull the previous month report and see what y'all have in y'all's, your fund balance, and we can move that percentage rate to compare what y'all have in your fund balance.
Yeah, did you send any backup or anything on that? I didn't see anything to look over.
I thought I sent it through.
Or was it something that you dropped off this morning?
No, this was put in before.
You
I do
can't
have-
say you didn't send it. I don't have anything, so all I'm saying.
Caroline has a copy of it. Hold on, I forgot to bring my copy.
Don't get it. I've seen it, but there's nothing in the packet.
Here you go.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Did everybody get a copy? So, what we have down here as the percentages right now for 12, 21, 22, 23, and 24, they are always subject to change depending on what's in the fund balance.
The balance.
Yeah, the balance.
With the cash or the balance sheet.
Can you guys see it? We can kind of hear you up there, but I've been up there and saying we can't hear you up there. There's a mic up there. Change off. Go in there and start it.
I think I have a big enough mouth that everybody can hear me, so Caroline.
We got you on this side, and I'm just saying that side.
Yeah, they can usually hear me. I don't know how to turn it on. She's back. I am not liking this. We're also asking if we can add the hotel tax fund and the retiree insurance fund to that list. Hotel tax fund, we get money from hotel taxes, and hotel taxes are supposed to be spent on certain things, so their interest should be on that too. And I was asked by commissioners to put the retiree fund on that.
So you're calculating on the first of the month or the end of the month?
End of the month. The cash that's in the balance
So
sheet.
basically, at the end of the month, they're taking a picture of whatever money's in these accounts. That's how the percentage is going to be divided up. Of interest. That is.
Yeah, and that way, you know,
Because it's
if,
all combined cash, and there's only one way to break it out.
yeah.
guess I'm not a little thick-headed this morning. I'm still don't really understand what do you want to do?
I'm asking that we be able to use, instead of the set percentage, use what you have in the fund balance, or in your,
She would use the percentages that Kim gave her years ago, and so allocating it properly. You gotta look at the balance sheet each month, see how much cash is in each precinct and each fund, so they'll know how much interest has to go to that precinct, and not it all being allocated just to one general fund.
So Caroline, in the past, it's just gone to the general fund, and I think I probably.
no, it had not. It was a set percentage for general, all the money is in
But it was
general
a set,
fund.
it wasn't according to,
Right.
mine was making.
It wasn't what you had in there.
So,
It
because
was
I
like-
remember some past courts that's come up, and you guys have said, hey, this is not, you want it to come back to your precinct the way you put it in, but you are trying to separate that out. So I'm tracking.
And we're also asking that hotel tax fund get insurance or get investment. If not, we have to do it because what hotel tax is, it has to stay with it. So,
It has to stay with it.
yeah.
You got sanitation on there too?
Sanitation is on there.
How's sanitation making interest when the general fund supplements it every year to the
It's
tune
got
of
cash.
$300,000
You look at the balance sheet and it's got cash in it.
It shouldn't have cash if we're having to supplement it every
You
year.
did not, you didn't supplement very much this year. I think it's only 30-something thousand that you supplemented it this year.
Sanitation has always been on there, so we just went in and looked and seen.
It's just hard to imagine that for years, and that's just the nature of the beast. It's a function of the county. And,
I can show you the balance sheet that shows cash that ties back to that spreadsheet you're looking at.
well, it won't have any next year because we allocated all that fund balance to be used this current budget year.
And again, and as those numbers change, their percentages will change.
So what is the interest rate now? I don't see it on here now. Yeah.
It's at the top. It's 30,000 for the month of
No,
November.
interest rate.
Oh, the interest rate? I don't know.
Right now, or,
I thought it was in 5%.
yeah, it's 5%.
Oh, it is 5 still?
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that I agree with what you're doing here, the 950 that came out of precinct 1 that's in Texas class, I think that's Luke's precinct 1's money, but I think that needs to be moved back into our county, in our local banks. If it's going to make about the same amount of money, interest-wise, I don't want to see sending it out. I think we should support our local banks. Because we do have an agreement that we have to have a certain balance for that being done, because the local banks they're paying a fraction of what we could get until we threatened to move it over. They didn't step up.
Right.
As long as it's sort of real close.
Yeah.
So it might be local, but again, gotta be close.
People State Bank actually come in and said, as long as our balance is over the 13 million, they're going to give us this better rate.
Yes.
So we have to keep our balance up too, so that will help keep the balance up. As long as it's close. I agree.
Yeah, and give us some kind of limit on that, because there's a lot in there that I may have to be spending, and we drop below that, and then where's it land then?
So with this said, there needs to be some interest account set up.
Yeah, fine, yes.
What are we changing though? I mean, these are already set up, right?
They're already, well, the hotel tax and retiree has not been set up to receive. And on the other ones, we're just changing from the set amount that has always been done, so it will be an evolving amount.
So it's not this percent, it's gonna move every month.
Yeah.
It depends on how much cash you got in your balance.
I would make that motion to do all that.
And to set up the 2 new accounts.
I second.
We have another question on the retirement insurance fund. On that, is that the new one being set up to try to help fund the retirement? And if that doesn't go through or something then it just reverts back to the general fund again?
Yes.
Will it always get pulled out of there? How long are we going to do
Well, it
that?
could be stopped any time, but it's been set up for a couple of years, and we still haven't got all the policy approved yet.
Okay,
We just,
I'm good with that. Yeah.
we're funding something for a couple of years, and we don't even have a policy settled on it. It takes a lot of work to do that, because there's huge questions about the economic feasibility of the whole process.
Gotcha.
And I have a motion by Commissioner Matuno, a second by Commissioner Domine. Any other questions or concerns? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, unanimous, 5-0. Number 13, consideration, discussion, possible vote to approve the retiree paid insurance policy.
So we brought this from in front of the court several times but there's always been some things that need to be changed and fixed. First, a lot of the questions that we have is how it can be funded.
First of all, we got this first quarter of the new year. I'm going to suggest we table this until they have a chance to get on board.
I understand what you're saying. Crystal is just as knowledgeable as I am about it. We went over with her time and time again. She worked for me for 6 months. She's very knowledgeable at it. We have sat down with Commissioner Sweeney several times. I know he's still got some questions to answer, but we have explained it to him several times. I still would like to meet with him. He's been doing his homework. He's been doing his homework.
But I'm going to say right now, I'm with Fritz, and I've told you this, that I don't have the warm fuzzy of all I need to know on this. I've had some very positive feedback in the research I've done on it, but I couldn't push this through until I have a little bit. I'm not intending to kick it down the road very far, but I just don't have enough that I have a good
Well, today I asked TAC to come out. They drove it all the way from Austin, so I feel like for you to hear parts that they have on the senior part. We had a lot of questions about it, so I would still like for them to be able to come up and explain those policies and all of that today.
Well, I've still got a lot of questions myself about how I'm not convinced we can afford this. I mean, this is a perpetual commitment, so I'd be tickled to death to hear from us.
So also, in the policy, we have it set for the senior part, a cap at 400. That at any point in time, we can change that. Their billing process will bill us at 400 and then bill the employee the extra amount. And then it's the same with the regular policy, the regular retirement one. We can set that amount that we're going to pay and bill the employee for any extra that we
Change anything we want to, I guess. We just only do senior. We could do lots of things. I just want to make sure we're doing what we can afford.
At renewal every year, you can change that amount. You're not locked in right now. If we'll approve it today, you're not locked in to that $400 subsidy, you could say, for those retirees. So it is something that can be changed every year, depending on what the court votes. And I'm Clarissa Messenger. I'm the employee benefits consultant for the South Territory, currently Orlando.
Sorry, what was your name?
Clarissa. Y'all are used to seeing Orlando Espinosa for any services, y'all. I will be taking over his role as he is leaving TAC. So I will be your new benefits consultant. So nice to meet you.
And so I've been working, with you guys for the last couple of years on kind of bringing this to fruition, doing the different budget, analysis and all that kind of stuff. And I will say, to your point of whether you guys would be able to afford it, like you mentioned, you guys have already been funding it, so you guys are way ahead of the game in terms of starting something new that already has some money in that fund to move forward with it. And the analysis that we run is always the worst case scenario. It's the maximum liability that the county would be on the hook for. Now, realistically, Are all of these people that are eligible going to actually retire this year? Probably not. So although that there's that maximum liability that's in that spreadsheet, chances are, I mean, you may be looking at half or less of that of actual money spent. So, you know, you will have a long runway of ability to be able to fund this, and then if there ever comes a time where you are not able to sustain it, you can always come back and do it. I think, you know, the thing that I just want to, you know, reiterate to you guys is the whole reason why we started this process was because the idea of this policy was to incentivize people to stay working in San Jacinto County long term. And that is why, and there's multiple counties, many counties that have similar retiree policies where they pay for the retiree insurance, where they pay for terms with silver. So this is not something groundbreaking. This is not something new. The surrounding counties around you also have similar types of policies in place. So it's definitely something that if you do not implement something like this, there's a very good chance that some of your employees maybe find out that other counties do offer something like that, and it does open the door for them to go find, you know, something else. So we want to try to keep you guys in line with, you know, what other counties are doing, and, you know, be able to keep your employees here long term, so that they can keep serving the county and keep, you know, continuity going in the county.
That brings up something I talked to them about, is we see this as a retention deal, and we want to work with that. And I think all of us up here, I've talked to some of them, that's what we want from anything, is to do anything we can to help retain them there. But you just brought up something. Have we looked at these other counties, and is there any way to find out, is it working as retention? Because one of my things is it takes money away from the general fund, the stuff that we may be able to give raises, and that's definitely a retention deal.
Yes, we have one to work.
But I mean, in these other counties, are we seeing that really is, when you actually blow in, is this your major thing that's keeping you here versus?
Because they're taking our employees.
Okay, but that's the reason not most other places pay more money.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm just trying to make sure that's the biggest bang for my buck. If we're doing it or giving them more money.
And I think the thing that, you know, we work with, you know, combined about 100 counties, you know, across the state. And the biggest reason why people come to work for the county is the benefits, right? I mean, benefits and retirement are the two things that really bring people to work for the county. So anytime that you're looking to improve on that and do something more, it's just going to be another tool in your, you know, in your tool chest of being able to keep people here versus, you know, and your benefits, you have a great benefit. Your health insurance is phenomenal. So, you know, when you compare your plan versus the other plans of the other counties around here, you guys have a very good plan. But if they can't keep it once they retire, it's better to keep something long term that's maybe a little bit higher in deductible versus I had a lot of work here, but then once I retire, I have nothing. So,
we do like the annual safety net. If it falls, if it fails, and they're causing taxpayer dollars to go up, we can always reevaluate every year. Absolutely.
And the other thing is, you know, you have that cap on the pre-65 population because once they hit 65, they move off of that, right? So the higher cost of the county is a smaller amount, right? The most that anyone can stay on that plan is 15 years, right? Because if they're 50 years old, and they have to have 20 years of service to get that. But then at 50 years old, let's say they retire the day they turn 50, well, they only have 15 years before they come off that plan. Because once they hit 65, they have to go on Medicare and they can no longer be on the group health plan. So all of those are.
So 150, that's 15 years, that's 150,000, so what? 6 or 7 people that age, that's $1 million.
That is true. Also, at the age of 50, most people that work for the county can afford to retire at that age. Yeah, and if they can, and if they choose to retire, and they go to work for someone else, and they pick up insurance there, or they're providing insurance there, they forfeit our insurance. And that's also
there's definitely things built into this policy that safeguard you guys from having huge exposure. I think that's a good thing.
And with County Choice Silver, the renewals actually come out in September, so the end of August, early September, so y'all would have already budgeted for it. So if it is something that you're not able to continue sustaining, you are able to make the changes at the next renewal. So it kind of goes in line with the budget as well. So.
There was something else that you showed me the other day, and I don't know, was that new, that the other choices, once you go past 65? Yeah.
County choice.
So that's a Medicare supplement.
Yeah, right, supplement there that had changes look good. I mean, it gave a lot of options, you know, whether they want drugs or whether they just want that.
Right, they get the retiree being post 65, they come to us, with this plan and they're retiring. We sit down with them, we have a group that we can reach out to, what was the name of it? And yeah, they are, very well versed on Medicare and can help that retiree choose which of those things is going to be the best fit for them. And one of those first options is the medical plan. The second one on that supplement is a prescription. The third one, there's the Medicare Advantage. That one works a little bit differently, but that retiree definitely has a lot of different options to choose from. And like Deidre said, that $400 is a cap. That's not the price of those supplements. So that's basically the worst case scenario that we have on the spreadsheet.
But I thought we had to pick one of those plans.
So the way it works, you're going to pick a package, okay? So each package has different options. So
have we not done that?
No.
This is why we're discussing it.
Yeah. So package one.
And it's in here, right?
Yes.
So we're on the same page? So
Yeah. It should be the first page. It looks like this. It's County Joy Silver. And on there, you're going to find, with the packets, you're going to have a Medicare supplement plan, so that's going to be for the medical only. You're also going to have the option of the Medicare prescription plan. Now, keep in mind that once the retiree retires and they are going in and selecting their options, they cannot just select the prescription option. So they must select the medical and prescription if they're wanting the prescription coverage. Now, if they just want medical, then they can just select the medical only without prescription.
Why couldn't they just do that?
I think prescriptions, they're going to want you to make sure that you're getting care out there for you to get prescriptions, so they're going to want to bundle that for them. We don't want, retirees just going in and getting drugs.
The Transamerican.
Yeah.
Transamerican is the provider.
Yeah, insurance, the underwriters, yes. And then, questions?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Last time the lady came and we were really confused on the pricing.
Okay.
So, on package one, is $279.08 the price with everything included?
So $279 would be for the medical plan on package one. Now, when you look at the prescription drug plan, you're going to have that cost there as well. So again, the retiree is choosing one or both, or the other option, a part of the package on that following page is going to be the Medicare Advantage plan. Okay, so they can either choose the supplement or they can choose the Advantage plan. That's the package option one that you would choose. Okay?
So once the retiree retires, they have to
turn 65, which I have. I thought you got Medicaid or Medicare, whichever one.
So you pick Medicare and then these are to go with Medicare A and B to help some of those holes in Medicare.
Yeah, the gaps in coverage. So it's a supplement, right? It's paying for some of those gaps in coverages that, like your deductible, your co-pays.
So you just didn't have supplement stamped on nowhere in big letters, so I wasn't on the same page.
Yeah, so the way you can think of package one, the retiree is either going to go with the supplement, Medicare supplement. They still are required to have Medicare's options A and B out there, but they can pick the supplement for medical and prescription, or just medical, or they can pick the Medicare Advantage plan, which operates as a PPO very similar to a health insurance plan out there, still required to have Medicare options A
The
and
insurance
B.
and the prescription's about $560, and the
Yes.
senior thing is gonna cover $400.
But again, right, y'all would only be covering up to $400. The rest of that, so being split billed, the county would be billed up to that cap of $400. Then that retiree is on the hook for the rest of that. So they're actually getting directly billed and invoiced, and they're submitting their payment back to the vendor.
So the county doesn't have to administer
Correct.
receiving the money from the retiree and then paying it. The county pays that portion, and the retiree is on the hook for that portion.
Correct.
But that's only if they truly want the supplement medical and prescription. Not every scenario.
The proposal for the under 65, that's proposing to pay the whole thing, but they're not going to.
They would stay on the group health plan. So the same plan that all your active employees are on, that pre-65 retiree would stay on that plan. And you guys would pay the employee-only premium for that retiree to stay on the group health.
That's the group health plan.
Yeah, which
We
is
had that
not twice as much as
Yeah.
as the.
We have that.
But that's where there's a cap of only until they turn 65.
So the over 65 retiree is getting not nearly as good of a benefit as the ones that are under 65.
Not necessarily, because, I mean, either way, when they turn 65, they're going into Medicare. They're receiving it. So,
Yeah.
and Medicare requires you to have supplement, providing supplement.
That way you don't have to not get care because you can't afford it.
Right.
And obviously, the post-65 is going to go on for longer than the pre-65. So it's better that we have a lower number on that post-65 than we do on that pre-65.
Well, and I would also point out that having no post-65 retirees on your group health plan helps your renewals on your active employees. This program, County Choice Silver, is totally separate. That is not integrated into your group health plan. So anyone that's on County Choice Silver, any of those claims are completely separate. That makes sense.
Yes. But we do have some that are over 65 that have our full package.
That are active employees, yes.
Right.
Yeah,
only.
And there's no way that we can't incentivize employees to get off the plan. We can't, put in a policy where if you turn 65 and you're an employee, so
that would be illegal.
That's just something that you have to continue doing as long as you're active.
So back on the rates on this, on the advantage plan on the back. Package one, I guess, is that the total price, $392?
Yes, for the advantage. So just to give you an idea of the differences between the supplement and the advantage, okay, because that's one common question that we get asked is, why wouldn't I take the Medicare Advantage, or why wouldn't I take the supplement for medical only? So the supplement, with all the plans, again, it's going to require the retiree to enroll in Medicare's Part A and B. That is a minimum requirement. They must do that. With the Medicare supplement plan, this is going to act as a secondary coverage to Medicare. Again, it's covering those gaps in coverages. It operates just like secondary coverage out there for the retiree. They're able to see any provider who accepts Medicare. Okay. Same thing with the supplement for the prescription plan. So it's designed to be a supplement as secondary insurance for the retiree. And then with the Advantage plan, this is something that is unique to our plans, is that with the Advantage plan, if the retiree were to come in and choose this option out in the marketplace, oftentimes they're not able to go back to a supplement. With us, if they are to choose an Advantage plan and they come back to the treasurer's office at open enrollment and say they want to move to a Medicare supplement plan, they're able to do so. One of the main differences with the Advantage compared to the supplement is that it's very similar to a health insurance option, a plan out there. So it's a non-differential PPO, whereas there's in and out of network providers. It's not just those that cover Medicare. Okay, so that Advantage plan is going to have a different network of providers that retiree is able to see. With this, of course, they're going to have one ID card for the medical and the prescription coverage, whereas with the supplement, they're going to have two different cards. It is nationwide coverage as well. Out there, the stigma in the marketplace with Advantage plans is that it's not, the Medicare Advantage is not the favorable option, the supplement is the favorable option. So you do see that with the Advantage plan, it is a little bit lower of a cost. Again, it's just dependent on the network of providers for the Advantage plan. Any questions? Does that kind of clarify the difference?
So when you retire and you're over 65, you got to pay for A and B?
B is, I believe, B is covered at no cost. A, I believe there's a subsidy for that. Or you do have
a couple $100.
I want to say it's like $270. $272, I want to say. Yeah.
Wow, so $272 plus $560, you're paying up.
Well, keep in mind, there's also deductibles and copays out there. So this is very rich benefit. So if the retiree, if you are giving the option to the retiree to opt into one of these plans, they're able to cover those gaps in coverages because Medicare is so costly. They're still paying their deductible. They're still paying a copay.
It's just cheaper to keep working till you.
Well, I mean,
I would say that this spreadsheet is so fluent. Like Orlando was saying, this is the worst case scenario. There's not a guarantee that all of these people are going to retire in 1 year. They may keep working for a year, 2, 3 years down the road until their scenario is favorable for them to retire because they have to think about these costs where they're on a fixed income.
Right.
The cost of just their living that they have to stay working.
You guys have been looking at this longer than we have, and she's spent some time.
I'm still confused as I can be.
No, I'm trying to
questions.
When they start throwing out all that, I mean, it don't take long for it to go right over here. I just know that for the short time that I've had it, and the people I've talked to on like that, it sounds like a good fit for what we're doing. And you guys have been looking at, I'm just saying that because half what you said there, I didn't put it out of my head, but I rely on people that know all about your insurance and retirement policy like that. And I've been told it looks really good for where we're at on the county stuff.
Well,
it's the cost that he comes back to, and I'm like, I can't afford it. It don't matter if it looks like a good pickup, I can't afford it.
Well, keep in mind your contribution is, it's what y'all make it. It doesn't have to be the $400, but it would help to cover that. Mm-hmm. Again, as Orlando had mentioned, we have groups out there that just offer this option to the retiree. But the purpose here is that we're trying to retain your employees and have something when they are at that point.
Speaking of that, we just had a big election, and a lot of people left. How many people left at the end of the year? That's do you know?
Yeah.
Y'all write the paychecks. How many have we lost in the last 30 days? How many? 23.
Well, and how long have they been in existence around the counties, and how much success, if it's successful, how long has it been tested as of right now? Like how many years have they been doing this in other counties?
Yeah, I would say, a lot of the counties, and it's in the East Territory, so that's what I handle. That's
They started at 10 or 12 years ago.
I want to say it's close to years.
You have that. The number of 50-year-old retirements, I think. Not many people that I know about there got an opportunity to retire at 50. And I've got there's a whole lot of county employees who've been before to retire at that. But if that were to happen, that's 15 years of paying this still adds up real quick, depending on how many you got on there. I'm just telling you.
And also remember,
how much that
at 50 years old, they have to put in 20 years of service. So how many people do you know that have been at the county, have 20 years of service at the age of 50? That's the other caveat.
I'm not sure. How many do we have? Well, technically, if they come out, there's no way a 50-year-old should go for 20 years because that's only 70 points. They got to have 75 points. So you have to be 72 and a half. 52 and a half
actually retire at 75. Retirement system says 75.
Yeah, so they could,
So it's not 50, they can't retire at 50.
Yeah.
That's,
But in that,
23 years. Yes,
Who do we got?
I got,
because you could have someone who came to work at 20 years old, has 30 years of, after time, which not very common, right?
20, you said 20 years old, that's 30 years.
30 years plus 50, that's 80.
Maybe 75.
Yeah.
So, it's possible, not very likely.
It's so weird, and I think this projection encompasses that,
Yeah,
correct?
this,
Again, it's your worst case scenario.
worst case.
But that's why we put 50 in there, is because it's possible, it's rare, but
50, is that something new that we talked about before? That's a good number.
that has been in it from the get-go, the 50s, yeah.
Well, and also something to keep in mind with the previous retirees that y'all mentioned is nobody is eligible for this, so nobody previous to your effective date is eligible for this.
So, that guy who started at 20 and puts in 20 years, he couldn't.
no, if he's 40 years old, he
Sit here and pay 30 years of this.
He's only 40 years old.
So that's what the 50's on there.
Right.
So the maximum they can draw is 15 years.
But that 50-year-old, again, is most likely not set for life where they don't have to go back to work. And once they do go, so let's say they do retire from the county, they start pulling their retirement or however, well, they probably still have to
A lot of
go.
people that retire, draw their retirement, then they go back to work.
Well, and that's another thing. So if they do go back to work, their active employer is now paying primary coverage. And so they're not going to elect y'all. So that wouldn't impact this.
But the other one does is, I've seen this out there.
They don't have any option to waive
The
that.
spouse goes on, they retire 15. and
They could, but there's really no purpose in
House
it.
job.
So that
There's
is,
a policy that if you take another job that hasn't,
as long as it's offered.
Yeah.
Where's it say that? It's
In the policy.
It's in the policy.
The reason I think other people take other jobs is to help their self-pay for benefits and stuff, so. As y'all know, I love the people in the county that work really hard, and I hope that this helps them supplement their insurance so they can still get good quality health care as a retiree.
7.14 is the
forfeiture. Yeah, okay, I just had my finger. Retirees that are enrolled, except those farm, it's full time. Well, we've had a number of people work somewhere else and then retire and come to work here. Now, some of them would keep their other insurance, not even take our insurance. But some of them would draw, they'd have their fireman insurance or sheriff. And some of them would draw both of them. It's like, wow, they're not both paying, but it's anyway.
My employee this morning that retired from the fire department is paying $1,300 for health insurance after retiring from the fire department, which is why he works for the county, and he's super excited about the health
$13 a month for example.
As a retiree, that's like
$1,000 for my bride. I mean, that's.
But he had to go back to work to pay.
That's what $845 on that was not online. That was actually cheaper than the market out there for insurance. That wasn't it at all. That was my first income was that 50-year-old deal, and like, man, other than the Army, I didn't know anybody else offered that that you can get.
Most counties that way. We pulled most of them was in the 50s.
no, they didn't have any, they just said 20 years.
Yeah, that's true.
So we put the age in there,
And 8 years,
It's kind of hedge the cost, so to speak. Yeah.
And you have, like you brought up, you have those 8 years consecutive at the end. So that, let's say someone has 18 years leaves, and then it's like, I have 2 more years, I'll come back for 2 more years and I'm retired. You can't do that. You have to do 8 years consecutively at the end before you retire to get it.
Exactly, I got that. I mean, I had no problem, like 60 on, 62, which is where Social Security takes off, and then we fill that down to 65. That's good there. I don't know. Again, it's just figured out how to pay for it from 50. Just the worst case scenario. We got to have something viable here.
Well, again, I think y'all have budgeted for this in the past already. This $114,000 for fiscal year.
Y'all look at our history, our things like that. Nobody knows who all's going to retire. I mean,
Yeah, right.
You just have.
Well, so this is based off of everyone who would be eligible to retire, following the rules of what we've set forth. So,
Yeah.
But again, you see that a couple of years out, what's 5 and 6 years look at? That's what I'm looking at, I mean.
Right.
You know, we gotta keep that, and we don't find out what the reserve we would have to have for this kind of program. We don't have the money, we just can't fund it.
Yeah, this is.
As simple as that, that's bottom line.
well, and I think that was, so to the point is, you guys have a runway, because you guys have, this is the second year in a row that you guys have put money into that account.
Sure.
So you put in the amount for year 1, 2 years in a row. So you have basically 2 years of funding at the worst liability already in that account.
And also, we have asked the court on several occasions that our TAP insurance rebates for our insurance, our unemployment, our workers' comp can cover that. So if we move that refund that we do not expect to get, which we've always gotten in the previous years, move it into that line item, it was still funded, and those are rebates.
And you sit here and this is about the third thing you've had on the agenda to take things out of the general fund. Everything that you're taking is already budgeted revenue. It's always been for years. We've always counted on that. So as you're moving it over, you're deducting money from the.
I have not had asked to take anything out of general fund.
So that interest stuff you were talking about readjusted, I'm taking it out.
On the hotel tax is hotel tax is hotel tax.
I didn't say that.
Yes, sir. And we asked about the retiree, yes, if the interest that's made on that money to help continue funding.
I'd like to make sure we can fund the current policies and the current services that we provide before I fund this. But.
Could I ask a question? So the plan you're talking about, is that the equivalent of like a Plan G?
Yes.
It's equivalent of that?
Yeah.
Or is it actually a Plan G, a real Plan G? Because people that turn 65 from now on can't get F.
Gotcha.
And it must be a Plan G.
Yeah.
But as a citizen, my Plan G, which about as good as you can get,
it bundles.
It's not near as expensive as what y'all are quoting.
Right, because this is a rich benefit, and
how is it more rich?
Part A, B, and D. It's not a G. It's bundling Medicare Part A, B, and D.
Well, you have to pay when you sign up for Medicare. You have to pay A and B.
Right. A lot of people just look at the cost and they're not looking at the benefits. With package A, with package 1, there's a $0 deductible.
Y'all are going to pay the A and B for the employee?
They have to opt in.
But with A and B, you still have deductibles and you still have out-of-pockets that you have to pay when you have services, right?
Right.
These are supplements on top of that help also with some of those costs where you have less out-of-pocket expenses. So now the retiree, if they choose, they don't have to elect to do this.
Right.
They can go out on their own and they can go get their own plan. You know, this is just an option, and it is something that the county can pay for. And if, let's say, they can't afford it anymore, but they can get rid of it.
The problem I have is they tell me, at least, the insurance agents that I've talked to, so there's no way. You still have to pay the deductible for A and B.
Not with these plans. I can show you a summary of benefits if you would like after. I can.
I just don't know how you're doing that, but whatever.
Well,
And on, I believe it's the 4th page, you'll find those benefits. So for example, calendar year deductible, the skilled nursing is a 0%, Part B coinsurance has 0%, out-of-pocket is unlimited, office visit copay and emergency room copay are also $0. That's for package 1 if y'all wish to elect that.
You talked a little fast.
Oh, sorry. Okay, page 4, I believe it's going to look like this.
Summer? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. This is going to show you just a recap of the benefits. So, it's going to have, with package 1, if y'all were to elect that one, you're going to find that it has a calendar year deductible of $0. Out there, I believe there is, I want to say it's around $270 for the deductible right now. If the retiree were to select the Medicare supplement option for medical, they would have a $0 deductible.
Well, I don't think we're going to let them, I don't think we're going to pick the plan.
So you pick the package. The package has the option of the Medicare supplement.
If we pick package A on the back page, what would we get with package A?
Package A.
On the next page. No, the next page.
392, 96, or 305.
The Advantage?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can choose the Advantage plan.
No. I'm thinking we're going to choose a plan.
Okay.
It's not going to be one plan that we're going to offer.
No.
If they want, fine. If they don't.
So you're going to choose a package.
Take it old, just the heck with it.
Hold on. Let me see if I can clear this up.
So you choose the package, right? The package has two options. It has, you could either Medicare supplement, which you can do medical and prescription, or medical only. The second part of package 1 is a Medicare Advantage.
Right.
So you have the retiree essentially has 3 choices when they retire. They can go Medicare, the supplement on the medical only. They can go supplement on medical and prescription, or they can go the Med Advantage. So you are picking which package they have to choose from. Because that way they have the 2 options of whether they wanted to go supplement or Medicare Advantage.
And then once you go up a package, so y'all are looking at package 1. That's what Orlando just explained. That is the richest benefits. $0 is really good benefits.
Which one is?
Package 1. So each page is going to have package 1.
Under the Advantage thing?
Yes.
Advantage or the med side.
392, 96, and those 305.
Right.
That doesn't include prescription, or does it?
So the Advantage is going to include that. Medicare supplement.
I just.
It's okay.
This is
It's
confusing.
overwhelming. So packet 1 goes all the way down the page,
Yes, ma'am.
and then through to the next. So each of those package 1, package 2, package 3, there's different columns. on
Right.
each page. And all of those are included in
Yeah,
packet
there's
1,
a
package
different number for, okay.
Yes,
Fully
depending on,
insured retiree, fully insured prescription, and then this one on the back, it says Advantage. You wouldn't, you'd either take the Advantage or you take these others.
But when the retiree comes in and they sit down and they say, so say today, for example, y'all were to choose package 1. Okay, tomorrow or after the effective date, a retiree comes into their office. They're going to be presented with choosing, and if they're eligible, they're either going to choose the Medicare supplement for either medical and prescription coverage, or they're going to choose the Advantage plan. They have those
And
2
you can't
options.
take them both, and
You
it don't
cannot take them
matter.
both.
Pick what you want, we're gonna take $400 and
Correct.
boilerplate, the
Correct.
retiree.
And they're
No matter
bills.
how much it fluctuates, and next year, if the price goes up, we're paying $400, they're paying that. That's gonna stay until you choose whether or not you want to pay.
Correct.
So if they took the Medicare Advantage, they paid nothing. If they took medical only on the supplement, they paid nothing. The only time that they
People
pay.
say that Advantage plans are just not good,
That's why it's lower. So when you compare it to the Medicare supplement,
but it ain't lower, it's like guess it is.
It is when you combine the prescription and the benefit.
And it must not have as good of benefits, or.
Correct, because you're going to its own network of providers. You're not just going to anyone who accepts Medicare.
But the numbers look the same. You're just saying they don't have as good as.
It's around $550, I want to say, for Medicare supplement for medical and prescription versus like the $370 for recreation. So there is a cost difference.
I see that. Mm-hmm. When you look at the individual lines, the numbers are about this, like for instance, copay.
Right.
Neither one have that. Emergency room copay.
The big difference comes in the network.
Yes.
So whereas with the supplement, it just follows suit with Medicare. Right. Whatever Medicare covers,
the network.
The doctors, the
doctors. So you may get to go over here to the Woodlands or to the Galleria, and the other one you go down to the hood to the free clinic.
Yes. It is different providers are covered. Different providers are in different networks for these. So the supplement, they can go to anyone who accepts Medicare, which is a wide range.
I've been unelected before, and I had to change insurance, and I couldn't go to the doctor than the county insurance. I had to go. Calling number 87. It was a quality of whatever you call that was not the same.
Right. And that's part of the reason why the supplement is a higher cost, because you have a wide range of providers.
They choose that. If they've saved their nickels, they can go to the high dollar doctor.
Yes.
Right? I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about.
Right.
So we have to pick package 1, package 2, package 3.
Correct. And then the retiree would be given those two different options for themselves, for them to choose from. And again, Amwins, our vendor, will help them as well if they need assistance on whichever.
If the retirees choose the advantage, the county pretty much will be paying it. It's $392.
Correct.
And the other thing that I just want to make a point of is that if you guys adopt this and select County Choice Silver, the County Choice Silver is not only for the people that are eligible to receive the funding, right? If someone comes to work here for 2-3 years and retires and they're over the age of 65, they can also elect County Choice Silver. However, they just you guys wouldn't pay for it.
Right.
They can pay for it on their own.
Right.
So electing County Choice Silver is not only for the people that meet these qualifications, it's for anyone who's over the age of 65 who retires, because it doesn't affect your premiums on your health plan or anything like that. So anyone who retires from here over the age of 65 is eligible to enroll in County Choice Silver.
And isn't that the same as the regular one, the regular retiree one, they're able to
Yes.
pay it for their
Yeah, so if someone, let's say, has 10 years of experience and retires at 62, they can stay on your group health plan, but just pay for it themselves. You guys aren't paying for it.
Right.
So
Yes, it's the richest benefit, so it provides the least out-of-pocket cost for the retiree.
So is it on the agenda to pick package 1 then?
Yes. That's what we're presenting. That's what we recommend, is package 1.
I think we need to pick that regardless if we take this other passed or not, but at least for the employees that won't qualify, they can opt into this if they want to, because they're going to pay for it entirely on their own anyway. That would be another step out of the way. Right? Package 1.
Do something we want. They'll make it prolong a few more years. And if he wants to do all of it, we do like half of it that would fund it for another couple of years, down the road, 4 or 5 years down the road. Do something, if we could do something's better than nothing.
Like if you do a different contribution amount?
Right. Just say, I think what he's saying is if, say, we decided to pay $400 a month, or whatever, just say $400 a month for anybody when they retire.
then the benefit doesn't change. Right?
Well, we just do it $400 a month. The ones that are gonna retire now, most of them are 65. That's be my opinion.
Yeah, I'm hearing what you said.
There's about half right now that are eligible that are post 65.
That's what I'm saying, so, but the majority of the younger ones that will be paying $800 a month, though, they're not gonna retire yet, they got a few more years.
Yeah.
So I think that if we was to, I don't know, maybe do something, we need to try to do something.
Well, even on the regular one, we do have a cap at 844.60. Anything over that will be paid by the employee too.
I think he's saying he's actually cut that one down to like 400.
Sure.
And then 200 on that one, the senior plan. County's contribution.
I mean, that would fund this thing, down the road. And then maybe if we can do something future down the road to us,
If we see it's running away.
So you guys are saying it's 400 across the board?
No.
Okay.
400 for the full, for the.
Pre-65?
Pre-65, and 200 for the 65.
Yeah.
This is your policy?
Sorry, if we do it in half, I just wrote it down at 844.60 and half of 2230. That's exactly half.
Well, I'm just saying 400, 200 is the easy math.
Sure.
Nobody's, that's a thing.
You guys good with it, the money is there, I'm still chewing on all that.
We have $200,000 in that account.
No, I'm still having 434,000 rebates and all that, but again, that's usually gone back into the general fund, that course, right? And I don't know how much of that you guys have been knowing that it was coming back, so you knew you could budget that on there.
We have, a few years. We talked about this for 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And we just now started funding it.
No, I think the plan, I have a problem plan.
Keep in mind, you can change this. You're not locking in.
That's what I'm saying. What we're saying is,
Not-
we're saying is, look, no matter what comes or goes, if we see in 2 or 3 years that it can't be funded, all you gotta do, we just have to stop it.
Right. And
I really
then-
don't want to see a lot of people start on that, we can't fund that anymore.
You're right, but you can always choose of how much you do some of it.
Right.
Well, you can
It's
say
just
stuff like
apply
that.
to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll have that available for them. But choose how much you want.
I just think if we was to cut it both up in half, that we could do a lot more for a longer time.
And that's what you want to do, 400
And look at it, if it's better, we can bump that up, continue to go up, and it is for people coming down, like I mentioned, I'm fine with that, I mean.
to the 200.
Just cutting the amount that they're gonna contribute.
And a lot of people don't, they work a lot of years to get a couple of dollars.
Yes.
That's just my opinion.
And I'll be honest with you, we have put a lot of time into
Oh, I appreciate what y'all done. All of y'all, the board members, everybody on board with this thing. I appreciate it.
You ain't going nowhere, you're just a spring chicken.
Well, this will never qualify. This program will never benefit.
No, I agree.
So I'm not doing this for myself or anything. It's a benefit to the employee.
Sure. And I think a lot of the public out there, I read a bunch of comments on Facebook and stuff. They meant it towards some of the elected officials.
Right.
Well, that ain't the reason it started.
That's not right.
That's not the reason it started. It was started for the ladies like Miss Rosie.
Yeah, Miss Rose, Betty Greenhouse.
There you go.
There's tons of them that have been here for Teresa, and all of them that have worked for this county for many, many years. And once they leave, most of them are working because they have to have.
They can't afford to
I
pay
wrote
it.
all their, are we gonna work them to the bone for the
You
insurance?
can't afford to pay it.
Let's work them to the grave for the insurance.
I think it's a great idea, man. I just want to see it last as long as it can, That's what I like to say. Just cut it in half and that'll help a lot of people.
If that's what you're comfortable with, I am completely
I'm
okay.
comfortable with that.
I just want to get it done and let's move forward.
I'm comfortable with that.
Motion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's not my.
So you also want to make a motion to adopt County Choice Silver to enroll it. Now, the thing, real quick, County Choice Silver would not be effective until at the latest April 1st. Because it takes about 90 days for us to get all the things implemented on it. So anyone who's looking to retire now, they may just have to wait until, 3 months to be able to, because if they retire now before that becomes effective, they cannot enroll until it becomes effective.
Correct. We want to make sure that's super clear.
This is what the motion is.
Package one.
Adopt county
County Choice Silver.
County Choice Silver Package 1, and set the rate of contribution at $400.
$200.
$400 for the regular one,
For
and
the
$200.
regular ones under 65, and then 200 for over 65.
So you'd essentially be paying about half of the cost for the
I thought you were
365.
gonna pay 400 and then it never changed.
We can do that.
That's fine, that's fine.
That's what I thought you meant, but it's your motion.
We'll make it 400 across the board. See, what we're trying to do was, we're trying to give the,
So, but when you do that, when those, Miss Annie and Miss Teresa, they're the lowest paid on the whole deal, and we're gonna give them a lot for $200 when we can. Why not give them, make it 400?
400 across the board. One motion is 400 across the board.
Okay. Okay, so I have a motion by, let me find
Let's
the
adopt this policy, correct?
Yes, sir.
Retiree policy.
say it.
The motion is to adopt the retiree policy with the change of doing 400 across the board.
There you go.
And it was package A.
Package A. Package one.
Package 1.
Y'all, this County Choice Silver is super confusing, so I really appreciate y'all for hanging in there, asking me questions.
I explained it very well.
Let's get this passed real quick.
Yeah, it is, and I'm not trying to be honest, but it is very confusing to me. I guess it's part of me don't want to deal with retiring in general.
We've been second.
I have a motion by Commissioner
I'll second.
Mars, a second by Commissioner Dominic.
Whoever she is.
Kristen Dominic, yeah, CD.
So real quick, do we need a calendar date in which this,
April.
is today gonna be the date in which it starts?
No, so the regular retiree one starts, we can do January 1st to make it easier to do it. And the retiree, the second part, the silver plan, starts in April.
So your policy would be January 1st, but nobody's eligible for County Choice Silver until implementation has occurred. With County Choice Silver, it takes around 60 to 90 days. So at the latest, you're looking April 1st,
It
where
could be
people can
effective
start
March
enrolling.
1st, but we say April 1st just to give you, it won't
The
go
full
past
rate.
that.
Well, I said it for, I don't know, June, maybe June 1st, something like that.
We can have it, that is our busiest time of year, so we'd rather be able to start working on it first. So April is great for us.
Is it what now?
On the paperwork side,
What's best for y'all, what day?
April is great for us because that's a small.
To start the County Choice Silver,
Yes.
with the policy to be effective January 1st.
Yeah.
I think you need to get them all in the same.
Same day,
January. Start something, you can fund it.
So next year, you're gonna have a short plan year, right now. It's not gonna start over until January 1st, County Choice Silver, for next year.
So it'll start April 1st, and then you'll have a renewal that'll start on January 1st, 2026.
Okay.
Because it follows, the County Choice Silver follows Medicare, and Medicare goes
January.
Got all that down?
So what day?
As far as the policy being effective, is January 1st.
Because there are some pre-65 retirees that could retire before County Choice Silver goes effective.
Yes. And the silver will go into effect.
Wait a minute now.
With March 1st.
I know what you do.
God, who's left?
I know what you do.
How do you say that?
Get that motion one more time out of here.
It's kind of more than time we've heard some of this in.
Oh, it is what it is. January the 1st.
The policy is January 1st. If y'all adopt County Choice Silver, based on the motion, that's next.
That starts.
That's going to be starting upon implementation. So, once implementation of County Choice Silver is done, we're projecting an April 1st start date for y'all. So if somebody were to retire on April 1st, they would be given the County Choice Silver option. Does that make sense? So anyone before that is not eligible.
So if they want to retire to
If they retire on January 1st,
They're not eligible.
they would not be eligible for the County Choice Silver because it's not effective yet.
But
They would have to just wait until,
they wouldn't be eligible till April.
no, they would not be eligible ever because you cannot hop on County Choice Silver after having a gap in coverage.
Right.
So if they retired now and then didn't have coverage or they didn't have coverage through the county for the next 3 months, they would not be able to get on County Choice Silver. So that person will just have to wait until County Choice Silver becomes effective if they wanted to hop on.
I'm just trying to make it clear
I know where you're
what we're doing.
And the review period when we put this is 12 months from when this kicks in.
So you're going to get another renewal at the end of August, early September. So you're going to know the rates for that, everything at that time.
Look at it, like,
You either approve, you change your contributions, you say no. I mean, it's completely up to the court to ask for renewal for.
we can take a look at it again, keep reviewing it, make sure it works for us.
So 60 minutes helps me a lot.
Yes.
My motion wasn't January 1. My motion was,
January 1 for the
For the policy.
for the policy and the pre-retire, the pre-65, April the 1st, and, around about is the post-65.
what I meant was a start in April.
You want it all to start? All of it?
So April, so they're ready, so it's ready to go.
Well, that's the different.
Okay, let's restate the
Restate my motion.
Okay.
The plan that we went with,
plan A.
I don't want it to start until April.
Which is the post-65.
Or,
Yes.
But that's when it's ready, the choice,
Yes.
yeah, correct. That's
No, all of it.
all of it,
Not just-
all
All of it, the whole thing, for anybody.
So if implementation rolls through and we are ready in 60 days, it could be a March 1st date. We just give y'all the latest time, so it's a 60 to 90 days.
Started April 1st. For
So,
everything. That's what I think you just said.
Yes. That work? Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it needed to be
Verified.
in line with each other instead of having one start here
I
and
see it.
3 months later the other one start.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. You said this revised.
I second his revised.
Okay. Any other comments?
Thank y'all.
All in favor, say aye.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. Good job.
Ayes have it, it's unanimous.
thank
So
you.
when are you leaving, young man?
I want to say it's Friday, so you guys got me on my last week. I'm going to go to Brokers for Higginbotham. So I'll be Higginbotham. They have offices all over.
Appreciate all your help.
Yes, I appreciate you guys. I really enjoyed working with all of you.
Hey, Doc.
I think it's a really good thing.
I really have worked really hard studying. That's why I got all these notes and I've got notes everywhere because I was confused.
I know they've crossed the numbers, I'm committed to paying like $100,000 a year to do this. Thank you. What time is it? It is, yeah, dial up, we all put about that. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's plain G, that's probably, everybody's telling me, it's plain G, and it's plain G, you got to pay that. Unless you have another policy to prevent it's always been very expensive. Much more expensive than if it yourself. Yeah.
You got to that's a voted process.
You can. Right. That's 67. Anywhere 62 to 67. 67, so it gradually went all the way up to 67.
Mr. Lawrence said,
I know. Somebody likes to move down. That's what I tell them to see. What I did find I knew you don't have one.
Another one thing, I want this head cover.
He said,
What?
that's when you read that.
You've been out of town or stayed?
You got to see
Yeah. How do you do? I'm sorry, at the beginning. Yeah, well, that's amazing. We've never shot deer on cousins. I'm not big enough to kill a deer at the place. We always put up the feeders next to the gun. The camera out, and every time the deer walks up there, it says it's falling. He quit what he's doing right over. I said, I've been watching about 6 of those up there. Pick up your song too. Because I put one up there all the time.
Jugs.
It goes to me, it goes to one.
One is it goes this one. Yeah. And all the time it's cheap. And so that's pretty big. I call
Been said,
it's fine. Went to him and made a couple of visits with him.
he don't see it year round, that'll way that cheap stuff.
They say he wasn't on that.
It was stressful though.
You know what? That was impressive.
And
I see how you work.
they just, you know,
Oh, I was.
see them continually.
Listen,
And that's where they get.
we might as well move forward to this next thing. Item number 14. There he is. Item 14, consideration, discussion, possible vote to approve the TikTok Act, Senate Bill 1893 into current social media policy. Anybody here on that?
I'm sorry?
TikTok Act?
Yes, sir.
What are you talking about?
So there was a law that was passed in November regarding the TikTok Act that we're required to adopt. So
State law or federal law?
federal. It originally did not include counties, but they updated that.
When you get on Facebook and you see these videos,
Yes, sir.
click on it, and they'll show you some guy on a track car falling off a mountain, or they might show a scantily clothed guy, or just all kind of videos. That's what TikTok.
That's a child's bill.
What's that?
Can I tag myself in here, Judge, on this new legislation? So it doesn't include apps that you might find on Facebook or videos from that pop up randomly. This has to do, the Senate bill had to deal with installing the app of TikTok on county-owned phones, right? That's what we're talking about. That's the prohibition.
It sounds like a violation of everybody's First Amendment rights.
Not the county's rights.
Well, if it was on your personal phone, you're perfectly fine doing that.
I don't have a TikTok.
Right.
I don't know how to TikTok. I don't even know how to tweet or none of that stuff. But when you start telling me I can't look at whatever, that's
County
the First
policy says
Amendment.
we can't have any social media on any of our devices that belong to the county. This is just a law that has now come in.
Yeah,
Hey, this is my device.
Yeah, you do whatever you want to do.
Not you, any county do.
Yeah.
Any county device.
That's statewide. Everybody's having to deal with that now. So everybody in Texas is.
I understand it. I think it's a little far-reaching for the government to tell you, because they got some political issues with whoever makes TikTok, apparently.
The thing is, it's we're required to do it, we don't have to say so in it.
Yeah, that's just on county phones, but on your personal phones, whatever. You know.
I'll make your motion. I'll second it. It's coming anyway, yeah.
So
I have a motion by Commissioner Sweeney, a second by Commissioner Tupin. So basically, the government has said, yeah, you can't put TikTok on your,
we cannot install that app on a county phone.
does it only include computers that the federal government funded, or if we pay for them with private? I just don't want the far-reachingness of the federal government telling us.
Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
They don't want China in the back pocket.
This is a Texas Senate, Judge. So I believe this was promulgated by Governor Abbott.
It's not federal.
Oh, not federal.
That don't really make it any better.
I mean, I understand that
Is it cyber, like, the kind of stuff like that they're concerned with, I guess?
I mean, it's the legislative intent is founded on the idea that it's a foreign-owned company, and they're concerned about a foreign-owned company having their app installed in county phones and being involved in county infrastructure. Whether there's another intent behind that.
Our policy, I can remember at that, our policy, it might not have been committed, but it was policy. You weren't supposed to be getting on your phone and Facebooking or shopping or looking at Twitter or watching movies. You weren't supposed to do that. I don't know if it's still in there, but I can remember back in the day when the internet was in its infancy, trying to send something to them via the internet, and you couldn't even get on. I'd have to call the IT guy and say, send out a memo and tell everybody to get off the internet so I can send this official business.
And I'd be do understand that, Judge. There's some people that
But we should be doing it anyway. Nobody should be sitting up there when they ought to be working, watching TikTok. Right?
I agree, but I don't disagree with you, Judge. Some social media things have other applications. I had, my investigator, one time had to even serve a subpoena through a Facebook Messenger app. That was the one way for him to get a hold of this particular witness. So, within reason, right? I mean, sometimes you need to go to those streams to get the job done, but that's work. That wasn't, he was just on Facebook as a video, right? So.
We've all walked in and folks are sitting there on social media when they ought to be working.
Just not on county.
This is not pushed out.
Right.
I don't know. No, I don't think this is, I don't think so. I may be wrong, Commissioner.
Once that crews need lit it up,
It may be, but my understanding is this was on the state level, because I know that on the state level, that's where it's being enforced. All the state agencies, including, universities, right? U of H, Rice, University of Texas are all talking about this because their county laptops, their county, state laptops, state phones, they can't contain it, they can't have this app specifically. Right? I think that there's a competing balance, right? I mean, the concern is TikTok one is not, there's not as much free
You look
speech.
at this policy, does it comply with the statute?
It is from the statute.
Yes, sir. Yes. I don't have any concerns about that falling. It's a draft closer to all of it, so. The concern is it's a balance between free speech and security of county.
Okay, so the first page of this is,
So this entirety is our current policy, the only thing is different than anything. Okay.
what's our current policy, the part that's highlighted?
The front page is our current policy, the second page is what we adopted.
What's highlighted is what we added to,
Okay, that,
yes.
And like I said, this is just talking about the installation or use of it on.
I can turn it on my computer, I turn it off, try to turn it off every day, and turn it back on. When I go on the internet, there's some random page just popped up there.
Right, and that's using a web browser, that's not covered by this. Installing an actual program, the application is prohibited by
And y'all all know we've got hacked, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to be getting in trouble because
Well, I mean,
how this stuff disappears.
that was what the stated legislative intent was, about security of county, state, and municipal devices.
So what's the penalty? It is the policy.
Don't be waiting for the first prosecution of somebody dying.
Engage in social media activities with their employees. Is that it? It says here, it is the policy of San Jacinto County that supervisors do not engage in social media activities with their employees.
That's in the existing policy.
You know, we had a lawsuit because of a fight over on Facebook. Is that why this is in there?
Okay, I'm gonna
So,
send it all
I have to unprint it now, it is.
We're all unprinted.
We got to unprint it, Chuck. That's right, that has nothing to do with it. Any other comments? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, it's unanimous, 5-0. Item number 15, consideration, discussion, possible vote to approve invoices over $500 for the Sheriff's Office, Road and Bridge 1, and Road and Bridge 2. We have any of that?
So there is an invoice on there that we probably need to talk about in executive session.
Executive session? Which one are you talking about?
The 13th of April.
So we discussed that.
You said quantum, there's a $4,400 one?
No. Look at the next page.
And another, that's the same one.
Yeah, look at the next one, those 2 pages.
13,000.
What'd you say? Look.
October, $9,625. This is one we've had up here before and we didn't approve, right?
Contract issue.
Is this not this is the thing that, there's a contract that got signed that never got approved by the court.
I believe the sheriff and, Chief Dolan are working on something, trying to get in touch with, Quantum on these. On the, because they're the ones that handle all of their IT stuff, you know, so I don't know where they're at on it. But he has been trying to get in touch with
We probably need to, there was no bid process. This thing ran over $100,000 last year and it was an illegally signed contract.
122 something.
I mean, that's why we were reluctant to pay the bill, because we only have a binding contract.
Judge?
That's what my sister.
We've got a couple of quantums there today, and we're going to be talking to them about trying to make another, kind of get a different bid from them and explain to them what we're facing.
Let me tell you what happened. The chief deputy just signed a contract with them. You can't do that. I can't do that.
Yes.
The court has to approve these contracts.
That's what we're trying to do, get 2 bids and them two to kind of present to y'all and kind of have perspective of kind of what we're looking at. Well, I know they're working on that today.
If it's over $50,000, not only do you can't just get a bid, we have to advertise and stuff.
Sure.
And they never came to us and said, hey, we want you to run it in the paper and we want to go out for bids for your services. They just signed one. And
we're aware of that now, so we're going to try to change that.
Well, I'm not preaching to you. I'm just telling you that you're brand new in this position, and that ain't just because that's how they've done it in the past. That ain't how it works.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I'm glad to see you're already on working on it and trying to get it resolved.
Not to mention that we did put money in the budget to hire a new IT guy to help with that, so we didn't have to hire outside contractors. I don't know.
And he hasn't found anybody yet. I know he's looked at a couple of applications.
Let me ask you, how does it work when something grows bigger than what you might, you get, because IT, a little background, but all of a sudden you hire on, and particularly on theirs, and then it grows past what you thought that kind, or what the scope of the work was going to be. All this
and address the issue.
You got to prove.
I just want to make sure, because like I said, sometimes in IT particularly, man, that thing can turn into a bigger monster real quick in here. Like, whoa, and you got to bring it back in here. Okay, we want to start all over.
Like medical, it's not that much every month. It runs over 100,000 a year, and we bid that out once a year.
Right.
So they're charging $125 a month to do whatever to 77 computers. There's not 77 people over there running that computer. I don't understand.
77 minus 23.
There's that many hands over there. That's what you get. Do they have 77 employees? And everybody got their own computer?
If it's fully staffed, they have like 70, I think it's 76, people, yes.
Not all working at the same time, so surely they don't take their desktops home. You got 77 computers over there?
Not now. No, sir. I think it's like, what, 56 now, something like that, 60. But that's what we're trying to negotiate with them too on that as well, until we get.
You didn't just say you're missing 20 computers, did you? We were paying to have 77 served computers. They're doing us to work on 77 computers, and you can't find but 50 something. That's yeah. I ain't trying to put words in your mouth, but I'm gonna put them in there. I'm gonna say it for you.
Yeah.
How do they do it on computers that ain't even there? I mean, I got a lot of problems with that. You say they're here though today?
Well, we're trying to locate them, I'll put it like that. We're working on the asset numbers and all that now, trying to get it together for audit.
Good job. Smart move. Smart
Well,
move.
there should have been a file on your desk when you walked in that had all the passwords and everything like that, right? You didn't find that file?
Not yet. We're still looking.
We're all filling in things.
Good luck.
So we won't pull the clock bill? Till we get a contract? I thought this was what we did last time.
That's what we did.
At some point, we have to draw a simple line in the sand. I mean, I'm not comfortable voting to pay for things that we didn't.
I concur. I just put it in here because this is
That
what.
violates some of the purchasing laws. I want to be a part of that. What says the DA?
I'm sorry, Judge?
What's our options on?
We're uncomfortable voting to pay for $13,000 a month bills with a company that we told them they didn't have an illegal. All I got was a good cussing in front of God and everybody about it when I mentioned it was an illegal contract. The issue's never been resolved.
Right. Well, so, and I think we've had several talks. I've already kind of highlighted that this was an issue, you know, in kind of the transition phase. My recommendation would be this, Judge, and we had, that contract was also running in the middle of when we had a network breach and we were dealing with all those things too. I understand.
That contract was done in September of last year.
No.
Or might have been. Yeah.
Agreed. I agree that contract, I'm not disputing that contract was properly done. It was just that the services we needed to get the sheriff's office up and running so we could handle cases was.
Well, if we're free to just sign, I'd like to go down to the Hummer dealership and sign up for a county judge at Hummer to ride around.
Is there an option for it, being since it was an emergency that we had to continue?
We could have done this, right? So what we could have done is we could have told Quantum, hey, this contract was improperly granted and we're not going to pay you anymore. I think what we talked about as the fallout from that would have been, we would have been dead in the water getting cases, and that may have affected the integrity of cases that my office needed to prosecute. And these are crimes with victims behind them. These aren't just, you know, POMs.
They're not the only computer restaurants out there.
I agree, Judge, but
we're also at risk for all the other computers. We're supposed to go out for bids for contracts that are over 50 grand. Sure.
But this one was already in place at that.
We're breaking so many rules by doing that. Well, perhaps what we ought to do is put it on next time's agenda to go out for bids.
Judge, if we could do that so that way both the new administration can kind of figure out what they need, they may not, it's looking like they probably may not even need 77 different ones, right?
It said we can only locate 51 computers and his department's getting billed for 77 computers.
Right, no, I agree, Judge. So if we can get some time so that the new administration can figure out what it is that they really need and not pay for, a bunch of they've done it, and we can figure out, is there other services that might be competitive in that way? You bet. Because we're in a much better situation now than we were end of last year.
We're paying a computer guy about $50,000 a month. We're spending $13,000 a month. We could hire 3 hands to work on computers, full-time, exclusive to us. We're getting hammered.
If we signed a contract, or if the sheriff's office signed a contract, would we be liable if we don't pay this as breaching the contract and like possibly get sued?
No. Okay, so simply we would not be liable because that contract, we could say it's voided because it wasn't. It wasn't. But
obligated.
But there's that, and then there's also the collateral fault. Right? The collateral fault will be like, well, okay, so we right. So if this contract is void, we're stopping today.
We gotta stop. We gotta pay the bill.
And that means all the network security, all that stuff stops today. So
the person who signed the contract has some obligations of what that.
I agree with I guess it's yes, there's that contract, and I agree. I'm not defending that contract was valid. I'm just saying there's collateral consequences if you do say, hey, we're not paying you.
We need to get on the right track.
Sure. I agree. Don't disagree. I'm just saying my advice would be, even though this
it's not on the agenda, but if it is a legal issue, what I'd like to do is go into executive session and discuss it with you. And if your advice is at that time to avoid getting sued on this legal issue, go out to bid for a new contract, we can reconvene under item 18 and do that today. Or if you think it better, we can just do it next.
I'm intending to stick around for executive session.
Okay. We're going to follow your lead on that. And it is on the agenda to deal with this, but I guess that we could say, well, no, we're not going to do it. We're going to. But even if we end up, and they're the low bidder of the one we select, after we go through the comply with the state bidding law, you don't apply to retroactively, because you, on another issue, you already told me there's an AG opinion that don't allow you to do that.
Well, so there's 2 different things on that one, Judge. Since it's professional services, we have a lot more leeway than we would in buying materials, right?
You're right.
So, we wouldn't be specified bids on that. But that's certainly a risk that we do need to get on right with the house part. So I agree.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Where are we going? We discussed the legal ramifications and executive, and then maybe come back.
Right.
Let's move to let's finish the other business we've got. The next one is about the same thing. Number 16. Consideration, discussion, possible vote to open and approve received bids for the Simpson County Material Bid 2024-2025 and contracted services for the following bid number 2220-12-24 limestone base. I'm real comfortable with that. Printed the statute out. I told her it was in here. I asked you to put something in the book that, I don't know where you put this. Section 262 of purchasing local government, where'd you stick that? I need it right now. Everybody's sitting here looking at me like, what are you doing? I'll see you in a few minutes. Hey, you're communicating my part. Was there some backup on this? I know there's, don't seem to be able, did I just miss it?
He's looking for the material.
Did you send this your item? Thing about the road days and all that? Okay, let's see it. James Construction. I guess maybe the bid sheet might be inside here. What kind of material was it? Limestone base? Or was it crushed concrete? I don't know. I don't have much backup on crushed concrete. That's seed. It was limestone base. Supposed to mix. Mix that. Aluminum handle, stainless steel blade. Soft.
I need a new
Bid sheet number 22/12/24, limestone base. 2024-2025 annual requirement for limestone base. Submittal deadline January 2nd, 2025. Looks like you got here on the day after Christmas. James Construction, 480 Wildwood Forest Drive, 650, Spring, Texas. Contact name Francisco Martinez. That's $16. It says prices are per ton. 16 for precinct 1, 2, 3, precinct 4 is 20. That's the only bid we've got. I guess I'll address the elephant in the room. Bring that up, please. No, don't need to be having that conversation.
Thank you.
What's a box?
Is anybody here from James Construction? Okay. Any official who makes purchases shall open bids on the date specified in the notice. All bids, including those received before an extension is made, must be opened at the same time. This is something we do annually. We bid out material once a year. Whoever gets the best bid, now that's who we're supposed to buy from. But except for materials, the statute considers the fact that there's also a cost in delivering stuff. So you can, if you had two bids and one was higher, you wouldn't, if Mark up there in point blank, he wouldn't necessarily be required to take the bid to buy the material that's down there below Shepherd. It might be $2 cheaper, but it costs him $3 a ton to go get it. So there is some leeway when it comes to, that's under 262.027E. In determining lowest and best bid, Commissioners Court may consider pickup and delivery location of the bidders and the cost to the county of delivering or hauling the material. Court may award contracts for purchase of road material to more than one bidder if each of the selected bidders submits the lowest and best bid for a particular location or type of material. Problem with this thing is, are we talking about the material that got delivered like in October or something like that? When did anybody know when it was delivered? It was delivered to
Is Carolina?
I believe it was delivered in December.
when?
I believe it was in December.
Or November.
Well, that's before the election. No, that's in December. It was in December?
It was around Thanksgiving, if I'm not mistaken. Around Thanksgiving. It was right after we discussed the ARPA funds and distributed 100,000 for each precinct. And it happened right after that.
But this guy, I mean, we've already bid our materials for the year. We bid them in September, maybe? And this stuff was brought in around Thanksgiving. Here we are a month and a half later.
And this provider, vendor, had a packet when we submitted out, and he did not bid on anything.
He was given the opportunity to bid on it.
That's correct.
Well, let me ask you this. Was there a cutoff date on the bids?
Yes, sir.
So come 3 months later, after we done awarded the bids,
That was correct.
if we had it open-ended and we said, and I hate this because this is a lot better price than what anybody else gave us. This is kind of a unique deal, but I don't think does that excuse you from the state bidding requirements, Mr. Still?
No, sir.
Part of me wants to say we could run this up the flagpole with the AG and get an opinion, but you may have already done the homework. There may already be an opinion. This might not be the first time this has come up.
Judge, there's one, it did have to do with materials that were different purchases that were over the bidding limit. And I haven't been able to lay my hands on the specific opinion, but it basically says that a commissioner's court can't retroactively basically bless a bid that wasn't, or a purchase that wasn't part of a competitive bid when the bidding requirements are in place.
What about, part of me wants to say, well, I guess we could accept this bid and in the future buy material from him, but
correct.
I don't know where that leaves us with this material that got delivered 2 months ago.
I think it leaves us in a situation where, one, that same opinion says that an auditor may not, there's no leeway in there, may not approve a purchase order for something that wasn't done in a bid process. What requires it? Yeah.
I did, I sent it out to everybody and stated that I can't pay this.
Right, because
it did not go through and it didn't meet the qualifications.
there's a attorney general.
What we do, we say, call them up, tell them to come get their stuff.
Yes, sir. That would be my advice. I mean, because we can't, unfortunately.
It's a good deal. It's a technical deal. I don't understand why it's such a good deal, but that's another point. But if I raise my hand and vote to pay that, well, I become part of the.
We're not voting to pay it today. We're voting to approve the bid. So,
how much material are we talking?
Does anybody have an invoice?
This is what it was. $84,662.80.
Can you go make us a copy of that? How much is used? Can you go make us a copy of that?
The copy sheet is all on this. Here's an invoice.
We hadn't filed there before, and he's used some of them. So, I'm saying all the files should have.
I tried to get some.
He's a big boy.
Yeah. I had checked on him, and he said it was there.
This says the ARPA capital. Totally not.
He said that I told him and said it can't be used for ARPA either.
So the next question is Donahue bill turned in? Has he sent a bill in for Donahue Road?
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't gotten anything from precinct 1 or precinct 3 on their final ARPA funds, correct.
Judge,
That's another point. We hoped we'd pay for this with ARPA funds. Well, we've already got shot down on that too. They got doctors that come through there, and the grant administrator advised us, this will never pass. If you use that money, that federal money, to do something like this, you're going to end up giving it back.
Judge, if I can be so bold to recommend this too, considering that there may be some liability for the county on this, I would suggest we might discuss some of this in executive session.
Because it's an illegal, and
let's not say illegal. Illegal matter.
We need your advice on.
I would recommend. I think we could probably have a little more flexibility talking about that without interfering with privilege or anything like that.
I'm here to comply with the open records meeting and make sure I'm not trying to hide something from the public. But if you say it's an exclusion because it's a legal matter,
there's a couple of things I'm concerned about. I'd like to take up in executive session. I'd be happy to make sure we come out and are transparent as we possibly can be, but there's some things concerning this could be pending litigation.
So this thing was 11/25, 12/3. That's after the election. That's after the lame duck statute came into play. Did you send notice out about lame duck?
Yes, I did. Y'all were all copied on.
Some of what I say is for the benefit of the listening audience. 11/25, they all 55 loads. They all? Who hold?
That's what you got out there.
And 11/26, 35 loads. 11/27, 76 loads. 12/2, 23 loads. 12/3, 36 loads. We all need a copy of that. And your suggestion is to go into executive and you can advise us further and we can come back.
Just so I can be clear for the record too, not necessarily because I think that we have litigation, depending on how we resolve this, there may be litigation. I'm not saying we're liable right now. I'm just saying I wanted to kind of talk about all the overs and unders so we can discuss that.
I don't want my first court to break the law. So
Right.
how would you do that?
Fair enough.
I think in the future, when we go out to bid, I think you're supposed to do that once a year, and then you ride that horse to the end of the year.
That's customary practice. There is a couple of different ways that we can do that in the future if we choose to, but it get complicated.
But well, that's the way we used to do it.
Right.
That's not an excuse.
Not unless there was a good reason we did it that way in the first place.
All right, there's one more item here that there may be people here on, and then we can adjourn for executive session. Item number 17, consideration, discussion, and possible vote to grant a variance for the division of a 12.82 acre tract into a 3-acre tract out of the David M. Bullock survey, abstract 69, that's Jacinto County. Bullock, that's down there on 59, close to 59 in Red Road. Bullock survey. Well, there must be more than one Bullock survey. Okay. Somebody here on that? I don't see it. Somebody? It is on Bowling Loop. That's right. That's a fellow named Roby Rutherford.
So when I looked at it, the only thing I had was the retaining tract for 12.82 acres. It's going to be kind of like a flag lot on the east.
I believe it wasn't in the floodplain.
It wasn't?
It was not in the floodplain, and the boundaries were changed. The 5 feet boundaries, I had drainage easement. It was all checked on that. It's ran through Tricia and Mark. They both think we got all that.
Yeah, but the 12 acres that he's how much frontage does he keep on there?
Like 158.
158? Well, that's more than a flag, that ain't it?
Well, you can't really tell by this.
The dimensions is in there, Mark.
Actually, no, it's not on that part of it, it's not, but there is a scale on here. And 1 inch, it's a little bit longer than an inch. It's at least 100 foot. Now, the track next to it has an easement, but that was done back 11 years ago. 12, that's too late for us to do anything about it. It's got the 5-foot drainage deal around it.
Oil program, the various, I'll make a motion.
It says an inch is 100, but this might not be to scale. When you look at that 82-foot line, that looks like about the same distance. So it could be as little as 80 feet.
I second that.
I have a motion by Commissioner Matuno. Second by Commissioner Sweeney. Okay, so how big a piece of land is that? 3 acres?
Yeah.
Mercy Water serves that community, I believe. Is water available? That's the criteria, you know. If they don't have city water, then they have to go drill a well, and you gotta make sure you got enough room for, you can't have a well, you gotta have like 150 foot around the wellhead. That, your sewer can't come anywhere closer than that. So, but doesn't Mercy Water service that?
They come through, I think that's they come through all through their Campbell Acres.
Oh, sure. Down on the other side.
We always show.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that covered all of Rolling Loop area. Well, it's precinct 3 everywhere.
I know a lot of people down there.
Yeah. Now it's precinct 1 until the next census. Then we'll see where it is. Any other questions on it? I think the sewer and water, it doesn't, I think. Water. The problem is if we approve something and there ain't city water down there and this guy comes, what about, they won't let me drill a well because I got the sewer here. Come on up there and speak into the microphone.
Good morning.
See if it's turned off, see if it's turned off.
So they're wanting to cut out 30 acres. If there's still plenty of room to do a sewer and a well, if emergency water is not available, it's 100-foot setback from the well for the septic.
They'd have to put the well up here in the front because the back end ain't but 129 feet. So it wouldn't fit. The well wouldn't fit in the back, only in this front part.
But if it's a new well, 9% of the time these days they're concrete encased and it's only a 50-foot setback.
50 foot?
It is concrete encased.
I haven't seen that change before. You sure about that?
We have to approve septic designs all day long.
You think you're fast, huh?
Absolutely.
Any other comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, it's unanimous, 5-0. This closed executive session. Mr. Dillon is here. He's expressed a desire to school us a little bit on the legal ramifications on some of these issues. So we're going to adjourn regular session at what time? 11:27. Move into executive. It's not stay off of it. We'll talk. What time we got? 12, about 12:30? We're going to reconvene in the regular session. 12:25, we reconvene, adjourned executive session, reconvene the regular session. We discussed some various legal issues with our attorney, Mr. Dillon and Mr. Dodson. He's been instructed, or he knows his direction to try to handle 2 of those items. The third item, there's been another legal issue involving a seizure of property that the county holds over there in their possession in the impound yard. And we have a proposed settlement to resolve that issue involving that Caterpillar 320E excavator over there. That's the county commissioners are going to, we're going to have a motion here in just a second to pay the lien off to the bank that has a lien on that machine, and then county Road and Bridge receives title of the machine, $35,000 and change. Actually, it's $35,754.40. So we're moving down to item number 18. 18, adjourn executive session, reconvene in regular session for consideration, discussion, and possible vote on items discussed in executive session. If I stated that right, I'd sure welcome a motion to that. I didn't state it right, I can restate it. Second that motion. I have a motion by Commissioner Donnelly, seconded by Commissioner Jacinto to road bridge to purchase the 320E CAD Traco in the amount of $35,754.40, thereby settling it was a seizure suit that got filed, and the county will end up with, road bridge will end up with the machine. Have a motion and a second. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. It's unanimous, 5-0. That sounds good to me. 320. Nope, that's less than 50,000. No bid issued. No notice issued. Each clause issued.
No, and yes, sir.
This is a no. We'll have one more.
Okay, back on item number 15. We never did vote to pay those bills. I thought we were going to pay bills except for the quantum bill, which was discussed in executive session with our attorney, and he's going to do what he can do to settle that.
So we need to vote pay them except for the quantum bills.
That's what I understand. I have a motion by Commissioner Matuno, second by Commissioner Sweeney to pay the bills under item 15 except for the quantum bill, which the district attorney will try to resolve. Any other comments? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Unanimous, 5-0. Item number 16. After discussing this issue in executive, the district attorney is going to, we don't need the action at this point. You're going to just see what you can do to resolve that issue as well.
Yes, sir.
The material, there's some issues that prevent us from moving forward. I don't think this bidder was, that's something we bid out annually. He wasn't on the list this year, even though I think they've been on the list in the past. So good luck with trying to resolve that. We appreciate that. So now let's move on. Item number 6, approval of claims.
And if the court doesn't have any other questions for me, I'm going to take my leave and take my march.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Where you buy that?
Probably at my desk, my leftovers.
I have a motion to pay the bills by Commissioner Matuno. Seconded by Commissioner Barnes. Any bills y'all might have any questions over or anything? Any comments? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Unanimous. 5-0.
It's good.
Item number 7, consider approval of budget amendments to revenue certification. I'm not sure. Had looked in there to see. Do we have it?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget amendments.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Jacinto, second by Commissioner Mars to approve the budget amendments and revenue certifications. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. It's unanimous, 5-0.
So we got approved yesterday for how much for the precinct 4? How much was it?
314,000, we got 75% of that, so 236,000.
236,000, thank you, yesterday for something like that. Some of them. Some of those big covers that you took me up there and showed, man, you had a lot to do with it.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something, I just want to give you a praise for how fast you got this stuff done. And what a good job you've been doing on this, I appreciate it.
I'll say that.
And I know Mark does too.
I still got a lot to do for Mark, but
I know, but far as the recovery rate and the speed this thing is going, it's unreal what you've accomplished for us. And I appreciate that hard work from us.
And I'd like to say, I appreciate the work that she does too, because it makes my job a lot easier. Hallelujah. Go team. I just have a few of them, and it's a big headache for me, so.
You should sit down.
We take the motion now. Every 5 of them, we're done with that. I don't have anything else.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
A quick question on the item for the seized property, how are we paying for that again?
Precinct 4, precinct 1, precinct 1.
Adjourn.
You're gonna divide it up equally and pay?
There's 5 of us.
Bob?
Oh, Miss County.
It's gonna house everything through too, we're gonna house it.
All right, y'all.
Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Morris, second by Commissioner Dominique. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous, y'all. Thank you very much.
I'm glad y'all